A few years ago, a guy bought a brand new electric vehicle. He crunched the numbers, did the math, and was convinced he'd be saving thousands compared to his old gas car. 2 years later, he was writing forum posts about how his insurance went up, his tires needed replacing earlier than expected, his home charger installation cost nearly $4,000, and somehow he wasn't saving nearly as much as he thought. He didn't do anything wrong, he just didn't know what he didn't know. EVs can absolutely save you money, but the sticker price and the charging cost are only two pieces of a much bigger puzzle. And the pieces nobody warns you about. That's what this video is about. Tires wear out faster than most owners expect. Let's start with something almost nobody talks about when you're shopping for an EV: tires. EVs are heavy. A standard electric vehicle can weigh anywhere from 20 to 30% more than an equivalent gas car, mostly because the battery pack is sitting under the floor. And on top of that weight, the electric motor delivers torque instantly. The moment you press the accelerator, all that power goes straight to the wheels simultaneously. That combination, extra weight plus instant torque, chews through tires faster than most people anticipate. A commonly cited figure is around 20% faster tread wear compared to a gasoline vehicle. Some EV owners are seeing tire replacements at 20,000 to 30,000 miles rather than 40,000 to 50,000 miles they were used to. And EVs don't use standard tires. Most require tires specifically designed to handle the extra load and support the vehicle's weight, which means they cost more per set to replace. Add that up over a few years of ownership, and you're looking at hundreds, sometimes over $1,000 more in tire costs than you'd see with a gas car. It's not a deal breaker, but if you didn't budget for it, the first replacement will catch you off guard. There's also the rotation schedule to consider. Because the weight of the battery pack isn't evenly distributed the way a gas engine's weight is, front and rear tires wear at different rates on some EV models. That means staying on top of rotations matters more, not less. That means staying on top of rotations matters more, not less than it did with your old car. Skipping rotations to save time or money actually accelerates uneven wear and shortens the life of your set even further. The tire cost is manageable if you're proactive. It becomes painful if you're not paying attention. Insurance can be higher than a gas car. Here's one that surprises a lot of new EV owners: the insurance premium. EVs carry higher insurance costs than comparable gas vehicles, on average around 15 to 20% more, sometimes significantly higher depending on the model and location. According to Forbes Advisor, the average annual insurance cost for an EV runs about $3,500 compared to roughly $2,500 for a gas-powered car. The reason comes down to repair costs. When an EV gets into an accident, the repair process is more complex. It often requires specialized technicians, manufacturer-sourced parts, and battery safety inspections that didn't exist for gas cars. Even a relatively minor collision can become expensive if there's any risk of battery damage, and insurers price that risk into your premium. Before you commit to any EV, get an actual insurance quote. Don't assume it'll be close to what you're paying now. The difference can be significant enough to shift the math on your total cost of ownership. Home charger installation isn't always cheap. Everyone talks about the cost of the charger itself. Almost nobody talks about what it costs to actually get it installed. Buying a quality Level 2 home charger typically runs between $500 and $1,000. That's the part people plan for. What they don't plan for is the installation. A straightforward installation in a newer home with a modern electrical panel might run $500 to $1,000 in labor. But a lot of homes, especially anything built more than 20 or 30 years ago, don't have the electrical capacity to support a Level 2 charger without upgrades. If your panel needs to be upgraded, you're looking at $2,000 to $5,000 on top of the charger cost. Add in permits, wiring runs to the garage, and local labor rates, and some homeowners have found themselves spending close to $5,000 total just to get a charger on their wall. One EV owner documented paying over $4,500 for their installation after discovering their 60-year-old electrical panel couldn't handle the additional load. This is a one-time cost, and it does add value to your home, but going in without budgeting for it is a mistake many first-time EV buyers make. Public fast charging can get expensive. Charging at home overnight on off-peak electricity rates is genuinely cheap. In some areas, you're looking at as low as 7 to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. That's where the fuel saving story actually holds up. But here's where it breaks down. If you're regularly relying on public fast chargers, DC rapid chargers at commercial locations, the economics change completely. Public fast charging can cost anywhere from 25 cents to 87 cents per kilowatt hour, depending on the network and location. Running the numbers at an average of around 50 cents per kilowatt hour, the cost of charging an EV actually approaches the cost of fueling a comparable gas vehicle in many regions. The savings essentially disappear, and then there's the peak hour pricing. Some networks charge more during high demand hours, which means a quick top up during your lunch break could cost significantly more than the same amount of charge at midnight. The lesson here isn't to avoid public charging. Sometimes you need it. The lesson is that your savings depend almost entirely on how much of your charging happens at home. If you don't have consistent home charging access, the financial case for an EV gets a lot weaker. If you enjoy this type of content, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. There's a lot more real-world EV ownership content coming that could save you serious money. Repairs can take longer, and that's a hidden cost too. EVs have fewer moving parts than gas cars, and that means fewer things to go wrong. That part of the story is true. But when something does fail, when it goes wrong, the experience is often very different from what you're going through with a gas vehicle. The EV repair network is still catching up. There are fewer qualified technicians, and not every local mechanic can work on battery systems or the high voltage components in an EV drivetrain. For some repairs, you may need to go to a certified dealer or a specialist shop, and those shops can have long wait times. Parts availability is another factor. EV-specific components aren't always stocked locally, which can add days or weeks to a repair timeline that should be resolved in hours on a gas car. And while the car is sitting in a shop, you're without transportation. For some people, that means rental car costs. For others, it means inconvenience. Either way, it's a real cost. It just doesn't show up as a line item anywhere. EVs aren't unreliable, but the experience of dealing with a repair when something does go wrong is meaningfully different, and that's worth knowing going in. The 12-volt battery replacement still exists. This one catches EV owners completely off guard the first time it comes up. You'd think a car with a massive high-voltage battery pack wouldn't have the same old 12-volt battery problem as a gas car, but almost every EV on the road today still relies on a separate 12-volt auxiliary battery to power the vehicle's electronics. The locks, the lighting, the infotainment system, all of it. And that 12-volt battery needs to be replaced every few years, just like in a gas car. The cost itself isn't dramatic, usually somewhere between $100 and $300, depending on the vehicle. But it's unexpected. People buy an EV thinking they're leaving all the old maintenance headaches behind, and then a few years in, they get hit with a repair they never saw coming. It's not expensive in isolation. It's just one more cost that doesn't make it into the brochure. Depreciation can vary more than expected. All cars depreciate, that's not news. But EV depreciation is less predictable than most buyers realize, and the variance between models can be significant. Some EVs hold their value reasonably well. Vehicles with strong brand reputation, high demand, and long battery warranties tend to do better in the resale market. Others depreciate quickly, partly because EV technology is advancing so fast that last year's range and features can look outdated compared to new models arriving at lower price points. There's also the battery perception issue. Even if an EV battery is performing perfectly, used car buyers worry about it. That worry gets priced into the resale value, which means the seller, you, absorbs it. The data on used EVs has shown that many were selling at 20% or more below comparable gasoline vehicles in recent years. For some specific models, the drop was even sharper. The upside of that depreciation is that it creates real value for used car buyers. A 3-year-old EV with a solid warranty and healthy battery can represent genuinely outstanding value. But if you're buying new and plan to sell in a few years, factor in the possibility that depreciation hits harder than it would with a comparable gas vehicle. Software subscriptions and paid features. This is the newest item on the hidden cost list, and it's going to become more common. Several automakers now offer features that used to be standard equipment as paid software subscriptions or one-time unlock fees. Driver assistance systems, advanced navigation, connectivity packages, performance upgrades. Some brands have begun gating these features behind ongoing monthly or annual payments. Tesla's full self-driving capability costs thousands of dollars. Some manufacturers charge for remote start, premium audio, or connected services after the first few years of complimentary access expire. None of this is mandatory. You can own an EV without subscribing to a single thing and drive it just fine. But if you buy a car expecting to have access to all its features and then discover that the premium version of the experience costs an extra $10, $20, or $30 per month, that adds up over the ownership period in ways that weren't obvious at the dealership. Before you buy, check what features are standard, what's available for purchase, and what has a recurring fee. Know what you're actually getting for the price on the window sticker. The truth: EVs are often cheaper, but not free. Here's the honest summary. Studies compare the total cost of ownership for EVs versus gas vehicles, covering purchase price, fuel, insurance, maintenance, and depreciation. Consistently shows that EVs come out cheaper over 7 years for most vehicle classes. The long-term math generally works, but it doesn't work automatically, and it doesn't work for everyone. It works for the owner who has off-street parking and can charge at home. It works for someone who shops for their insurance before buying. It works for someone who budgets for faster tire wear and understands that the charger installation might actually cost for their specific home. It works for someone who reads the fine print on what's included versus what costs extra. The smartest EV owners aren't the ones who believe every dollar of the savings estimate on the manufacturer's website. They're the ones who did the real math first, including the costs nobody brought up in the showroom. Now you have that list, use it before you buy, not after. Drop a comment below. Which one of these costs surprised you the most? And subscribe if you want more content that gives you the real picture of EV ownership before it costs you.